Is there anything that stands out to you defensively tonight?
I felt like they hit every shot. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts right there.
Did it feel like as the game went on, you guys found a way to make it any tougher on them? I know Sora just mentioned like there's a play where I think PJ gets 2 deflections, you guys don't come up with it, they hit a floater. Is it sometimes just not your night, or do you think like as the game went on, you guys actually were able to make it tougher on them?
I just felt like, it wasn't a night. I felt like there was a lot of contested shots that they still hit, no matter what we did. Like you said, the deflections or whatever, the ball still ended up in the hoop for them.
I know obviously only a week left in the season, 4 games left. What does this feel like? Does this feel like just like one where you're just like, we're just gonna throw it out and go to the next one tomorrow night, or is this something where you think like, hey, we've given up 130, 130, 140, like we have something we really need to dig in on defensively?
I think it's a little bit of both, but at the same time, we got to get this one tomorrow, so we can't, really hang our head on tonight's performance defensively or the last couple. We got to find a way to get the job done tomorrow.
Zora?
And how are you feeling offensively? Khris, I think it's been, a couple games in a row where it's 20-plus point games. Just what's your rhythm feeling like now? What kind of space are you in offensively?
I feel like I'm in a great space, playing off, everybody, being aggressive, being assertive, trying to limit my turnovers, even though I had a couple bad ones tonight. But it's just all about, just trying to get to my spots and playing within the offensive flow.
Dan Woike, the LA Times.
Hey, Khris, I have a non-game related question for you. You were 8 years old when Kobe Bryant debuted in the NBA. He goes to the Hall of Fame this weekend. I'm curious, how did he influence you as a player? And how do you see his influence either on the court or in the way that guys approach the game throughout the league and younger players?
For sure, you can still see him in today's game. One, with the shoes. I think that's the most obvious thing that stands out. You see everybody wearing the shoes, including mine, and the disappointment that we've heard that his shoes may not continue. So that's one obvious point that everybody can see. But as far as player standpoint, you can just see the mid-range. Just working on their game, the determination. Determination to be great. All the above. Get over there, Jrue. Yeah,
he's grubbing.
Yeah, some good stuff over there.
Terrible teammate, bro.
But you see just the will that he put in his game that you still try to see, that you still see with some players today. Mamba mentality, mantra, everything.
So, Coach was talking about the decision that he kind of like, when was the right time to pull you all or to keep you in for an extra push. How do you feel in that moment when it kind of gets to that point where Coach kind of has to decide, do I keep him in or like we have a game tomorrow? Do you have any input in that, or is that all up to Coach? What happens in those moments?
Honestly, I'm not the one to really ask about that because I'm here to play. So if we're down 20, then I'm trying to play 48 minutes. That doesn't matter to me. I do know sometimes you have to save. Sometimes you need a coach to save you from yourself. I've always been that person where somebody needs to save me. So I'm always going to fight until the end, and from there, coach kind of makes that decision. Even though I know we have the back-to-back tomorrow, I'm still going to go out there and give 110%. So.
How did it feel out there tonight, just playing a team that was red hot? I mean, they scored well over what they normally score, right? Making a lot of shots. Just your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was. It sucked and it felt good. The reason why I say it was terrible is because they got up early on us, and then they just sustained it. Every time we made a push, we felt like we had momentum, and that was kind of the good part about it. We felt like we were in a rhythm. We made a push. We hit them back, especially coming in that third quarter. And then you look up, and you didn't really make a dent. We probably got down to 16, 15 points, and then they hit a couple big threes. I think Patty hit a couple big threes, and they're back up 20. So, yeah, some parts of it were terrible. Other parts felt pretty good.
So were the good parts of the momentum that you felt like you had, and then you got deflated when you looking saw the deficit. Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out what was the good part.
No, the good part is just like the way that we were playing. Like offensively, we felt like we had a rhythm and we were doing what we were supposed to do. Defensively, we had great possessions on defense, and there were times where they just made shots. And sometimes you can kind of live with that, where teams, they're just hot and they make tough shots. I know there's a couple times with PJ and they're trapping Patty and had them scrambling, and somebody came in and just hit a contested shot. So.
Eric Name?
I'm always interested in your thoughts defensively. Like in a moment like that, what do you feel like is the best way to mess with someone's rhythm? Like when a team is like that hot, like is it like a totally different strategy? Is it like get way more physical? Like how do you, or is it just
throw everything at them, really. Throw that. I think that we started off switching, and then we ended up staying with our man, went into kind of bigs back, and then we went into a little bit of zone. You really just try to figure it out, and tonight they had it going.
One thing Bud had mentioned is the idea that, sometimes you guys got to make that first drive tougher. And that's a thing we've kind of talked about over the year is like dribble penetration not being a problem. What do you see in that regard in like keeping your man in front of you and maybe not relying on help as much, just kind of as a team?
Right. I think that's always key, to be able to guard somebody for 2 or 3 dribbles. Nowadays, it's more than 2 or 3 dribbles. It's 4 or 5 dribbles and pump fakes and pivots and all that. So it makes it a little tough. But I feel like that's crucial when it comes to being a good defensive team and guarding somebody for 2 or 3 dribbles.
Dan Wicke?
Hey, Drew. As an Angelino, I'm curious. Kobe goes into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Curious what you kind of think his. This is really broad, but do you see sort of his impact? I mean, I'm sure you were a player who imitated him growing up. How do you see his impact around the league? And I think, what do you think his legacy is on the court in the sort of the modern NBA?
For me, he's the GOAT of my era. He was the Michael Jordan of my era. He was the Kobe of my era. He did everything. Defense Player of the Year. He has championships. He got on his teammates the tough way. I just feel like he was the leader of the era of basketball that I grew up watching, and especially being from Los Angeles County, from LA. He is our GOAT. He's the GOAT of my era. So I still feel like a lot of the guys in this league are around my age, in my generation. So it means a lot. I know the younger guys kind of go toward LeBron, which is cool, and he'll be the GOAT of that era. But Kobe is definitely the GOAT of my era.